Hey guys, what's up? Nullrage here, bringing you another skill overview. This time we're taking a look at Black Widow. She just got her 52 review, and we're going to be taking a look at some of the changes and all that. I should warn you though, the test center is a little bit laggy right now, so there may be some weirdness. Just ignore it. It's all going to be fine. Let's hop in and have a look at Natasha Romanov. So I've gone ahead and put 1 point into every skill. Um, First things first, we should probably take a look at our synergies and make sure nothing has changed. I'm pretty sure they're the same. Level 25 unaware target damage and level 50 unaware target damage. Yes, so no changes there. I believe she does have a few new uniques. I have not acquired any of them yet. Unfortunately, the box that used to pop out all the uniques is not available on the test center anymore. Hopefully they'll add that back in a future iteration of the test center. But for now, let's just have a look at her skills. We've got 3 trees: agility, weaponry, and spycraft. I'm going to start with agility, and there's one passive in this tree. It's probably one of my favorite passives that she has. Red Room Reflexes. You're training in combat espionage at the USSR Elite Department X program at the Covert Red Room facility. Makes you an extremely effective element in almost any scenario. It's going to boost your damage rating. It's going to give you some crit and brutal strike rating, as well as crit damage rating, and you will restore 3 spirit when you critically hit or brutal strike. Let's see how that scales. It scales fairly nicely, but then again, it starts really high too. Look at that damage rating, 431 damage rating, just, for 1 point. That's pretty huge. Everything else scales very nicely though, with points put in the skill, so probably a maxed out passive for most builds. Alright, now on to the actual abilities. First thing in the tree, we've got Crippling Strike. Deliver a series of incapacitating strikes to enemies in front of you, weakening their combat abilities and throwing an occasional burst of electricity from your wrist-mounted Widow's Bite. Okay, so you've got the physical damage there at the beginning, and you've got a proc, a 10% chance to deal 50% bonus base damage, and slow the attack and move speed of the attacker for 3 seconds. Or of the target for 3 seconds. It's also got a weakening effect, 4 seconds. Alright, let's have a look at Crippling Strikes. There you go. And you can see that weakening effect being applied. It almost looks like a vulnerability effect. I'll have to see if there's something else in the tree that might be applying vulnerability. And there you can see the little bit of lag on the test center that I was mentioning earlier. Anyway, next skill in the tree is Escape Roll, and it's your basic dodge roll. It's going to increase your attack and move speeds, and it's also going to stealth you for 2 seconds. Let's have a look at that. There you go. So you can use this to, hey, you're attacking this dude, and now you can stealth out, stealth in, whatever you want. If you need to run through certain areas, it's going to be very useful, as you can stay pretty much permanently stealthed and just run through and get your cube shards. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Next up, we've got Deadly Blade. Draw a hidden knife and deliver a painful slash to enemies in front of you, opening bleeding wounds. It's going to do some base physical damage, it's going to do a physical bleed, and it's going to do extra damage to bosses and elites. Let's have a look at that. Now you'll see the range is fairly high as I'm hitting cone is huge. The range, I can use it on this guy, and I'm hitting even though I'm way back here. And again, you can see the lag. There it goes. It caught up. So this can be. This does not, at least not currently, it does not move you to the target you're trying to hit. So make sure that you are up on the target, you know, that you've used your basic to get into range before using this. Now, that may change. Again, this is all done on the test center, so it's all considered beta. Some things may change. Keep that in mind. Next up, we've got Acrobatic Assault. Backflip over enemies, delivering a powerful kick to the head as you travel. It's got some base physical damage, stun duration of 2 seconds, and this ability is really fun. There you go. You can see the distance traveled, and it looks like we've got a little bit more lag going on. But anyway, the distance traveled is based on the distance of the mouse from your character. Alright? So if you're standing right here and you use it, you're going to go about that far. If you move your mouse way over here, you're going to go a long way with this skill. So it's got some interesting targeting mechanics to it, I guess. But it can also be used, weaved in between an attack to do this weird stun lock, possibly, kind of thing. Of course, then again, with the CC reduction, the CC diminishing returns, I guess that's still out of the question. But, still pretty cool. Next up, we've got Sweep Kick. Lash out with a sweeping kick that knocks down enemies in a 360-degree arc around you, making them vulnerable to attack. Gonna have some physical damage, knockdown duration. Does the knockdown yes, the knockdown duration increases as you put points in the skill. And by the way, let's just go over Acrobatic Assault. The stun duration will increase as you put points into the skill too. Alright. And the vulnerability, the duration of it will increase. However, the percent increase does not. Let's see. Base physical damage, knockdown, and that vulnerability application. Let's have a look at what that looks like. Wow. That hits everything around you. Even way back here. Huge area of effect, I might add. The server started lagging again. Still, that is way uber cool. Alright, next up we've got Backflip Bomb. Perform a backflip kick, knocking enemies into the air and leaving an explosive as you move away. You're going to do some initial physical damage, and then the bomb's going to explode. It's got a 1 second cooldown on it. Let's see what that looks like. So we're fighting this dude, and boom. I said boom. Oh, okay, the server's lagging a bit. Oh, there's an explosion. Alright, let's see if we can get an actual look at this. Not really. Alright, there we go. That's what it looks like, what it's supposed to look like. You run up, you backflip while placing a bomb. There you go. Next up, we've got Deadly Kick. Deliver a powerful high spinning kick that deals heavy damage to all enemies surrounding you. Bonus damage at full Widowmaker. Now this is the first of 2 abilities that will take advantage of her quote-unquote secondary resource, which is going to be Widowmaker. So let's just take this opportunity to go over Widowmaker. Your Widowmaker status increases over time as you dispatch enemies. When you have full Widowmaker, your next coup de grace or Deadly Kick have a massive damage boost and reset Widowmaker. So I'm going to use this once. The first time I use this, it's going to hit really hard. Now every time after that, since this Widowmaker bar is not full, it's going to hit a little bit less hard. So let's have a look at Deadly Kick.
Are you even trying?
What? Did that hit everything? Is it really yeah, it's another 360 AoE. You can see it hits just about everything in this big wide area. Dude, I'm thinking about Sweep Kick and Deadly Kick as just like AoE everything down. Let's go from this, and whenever the Widowmaker's bar is full, you switch to Deadly, then go back to Sweep Kick. Huge AoE output. Alright, so that's Deadly Kick. It has an increased damage rating, or increased crit damage for that power, so it will crit harder than a lot of other skills. Next up, we've got the Weaponry Tree, and this is going to focus on mostly her guns and ranged abilities. Are there any passives in this tree? No, there are not any passives in this tree. So we'll just throw everything on the bar here. Oh, I lied. There's Kevlar Reinforced Bodysuit. My bad. It is a passive. Kevlar weaving and tactical ammo pouches within your bodysuit improves your stability and effectiveness in combat. It's going to give you some defense rating. It's going to give you some dodge rating, some tenacity, projectile deflection chance, and restore 3 spirit per second when you are not using spirit spitting powers. Very cool. And how does it scale? There's a quick look at that. At 20 points, you're looking at nearly over 3,000 dodge rating. Quite a bit of tenacity. A whole lot of defense. Very cool, very cool. And last one. Yeah, we'll put that there. Alright, so let's hop in here and have a look at the weaponry tree. Snapshot. Fire a stream of bullets from your twin Glock pistols. Your training allows you to target weak spots on your targets, slowing them down and creating critical wounds. You've got some base physical damage. You've got increased critical damage for this power, and a chance to slow. Or not even a chance. I think it's guaranteed slow. Cool, cool. And there's a look at that. Looks like the test center's lagging again. That's pretty cool. I like how the oh man, I got to zoom in on this and just admire. Look at the bullets. The spent shell casings are ejected as she fires and just pile up there on the ground. That's pretty cool. That is an amazing animation right there. With the gun smoke and everything, dude. Oh man. That is so sick. Alright, sorry, I'm nerding out here over the animation for that skill. Alright, next up we've got Coup de Grace. Now this is the big one, so we're going to go over the big one first. Unlike the other tree where we went over the big one last. Coup de Grace is going to be a ranged ability. Coldly shoot an enemy point blank to deal massive damage, especially to those hindered by negative conditions. As they say, dodge this. I like the inclusion of dodge this into that. Alright, so this is very much inspired off of, you know, that one scene in The Matrix. Trinity just pulls out the gun and puts it to his head. Dodge this. Alright, huge physical damage there. It's got some increased base damage to knocked down enemies and stunned enemies. So the damage will increase when used on enemies affected by knockdown and stun, which you have a lot of options in the tree for applying. One of which, of course, is... where's that one? Sweep Kick with that knockdown duration. And Acrobatic Assault with stun. Cool, cool. So let's have a look at Coup de Grace. I'm going to turn this way so I can get a good look at the animation. Boom. She just pulls out the sidearm, and you can see the pose is very true to that scene in The Matrix. Very cool. And let's see if we can apply a stun real quick to see. So stun. They're gonna resist the stun anyway because they're training dummies. Never mind. Never mind. We'll go ahead and move on down the tree, but on things that can be stunned, it will do increased base damage. Probably getting some pretty huge crits. Next up in the tree, we've got Stinging Shot. Fire a 10,000 volt charge of electricity that knocks down your enemies. This is, of course, going to help you set up coup de grace with that knockdown and apply some energy damage. A little bit of a change from most of the other things in the tree that she's been doing so far. It's all been physical up to this point. But this one's going to be energy damage. And apply a knockdown. Have a pretty decent rate of fire too. Alright, let's have a look at that. See that rate of fire? Pretty crazy. But it looks like she's just yeah, she's got electric taser taser weaponry in her wrist belt or whatever. That's pretty cool. So, what you're probably going to be doing a lot is using the Stinging Shot followed by a coup de grace for massive damage. Next up, we've got Covert Sniper. Stealth and take aim with your high-powered sniper rifle, charging up a deadly shot that damages all enemies in its path. It's going to deal some physical damage, and the base damage will be increased by up to 25% to faraway targets. If you charge the skill fully, it will do 200% increased damage. It's also going to stealth you. This is a new addition to this power. Everything else was sort of the same, but now it is also going to stealth you. Let's have a look at that. You can see as soon as she starts charging it up, she goes into stealth. Or at least would if the server wasn't lagging. Again, I apologize for the lag on the test server this morning. Still pretty cool, because you're gonna get that because you've gone into stealth, you're gonna get bonus damage to targets that aren't attacking you, which doesn't seem to be one of her passives anymore. But if you're planning on doing what I'm probably planning on doing, which is putting some Loki blessings on her, then it's going to help a lot. Next up, we've got Stinging Barrage. Hold the hotkey to unleash a continuous stream of scathing electricity that pierces all enemies in your path. It's going to deal energy damage again, and a very high rate of fire. Your basic barrage skill. Pretty cool. And again, the lag on the test center. It will expend your spirit quite quickly, it seems. So do keep that in mind. That spirit, you know, she does not have much spirit, at least not at base levels. Maybe stacking a little bit of spirit on her gear would solve that problem. But yeah, you can just eat through your spirit quicker than anything. Next up, we've got, there's of course the passive, and her signature, Twilight Cloaking Device. You enter stealth mode, allowing you to shake off and gain immunity to all negative conditions. Avoid some damage from all attacks, or from attacks, and more easily find enemy weak points. So your damage, defense, and critical rating bonuses go up, and the duration is 6 seconds, the cooldown 50 seconds. It's also going to make you stealth. Alright, let's have a look at that. So we're sitting here, firing the guns, and Activate Twilight Cloaking, and right then, of course, the server decides to lag. So wonderful. Yep. Well, normally you would go into a cloaking mode. And we'll come back to that one. Alright, let's go over the Spycraft tree. Are there any passive abilities in this tree? None that I can see. There are these two work in conjunction with each other. Let's just leave that on there. And alright, we'll put that one on that one. Alright, so the first skill in the tree is rolling grenades. Toss a group of explosive grenades on short timers. There's a bleed that's been added to this. This used to be one of her skills, and it just did physical damage, or actually it did energy damage. It just did some initial damage, but now it has a bleed on it. Now points put into the skill will not increase the number of grenades thrown. I was wondering there if it would increase the number of grenades thrown, but does not seem that it will unless it increases after 20 points. It may do that, but that'd be a long way to have to. I don't know. That'd be unusual. So initial energy damage and some bleed. Let's have a look at rolling grenades. Alright, so there's a look at rolling grenades after the server decided, not to be laggy. There you go. That's what rolling grenades will look like. Pretty cool. Widow's Kiss is the next ability in the tree, and one of my most favorite abilities. Spray a cloud of poison in front of you, weakening all enemies exposed to the poison. Energy damage, as well as a bleed and a weakening effect. This one's going to hit very hard. There's Widow's Kiss. You can see you've got that initial huge burst damage and then the bleed afterwards with a pretty cool effect on as they take damage from the dot. Used in conjunction with rolling grenades, this AoE bleed damage is ridiculous. Alright, next up we've got anti-personnel grenades. Throw a pair of grenades that stun enemies and make them vulnerable to attacks with its potent explosion. You're going to deal some initial physical damage, stun duration of 1.5 seconds, and a vulnerability application. Now, have we got other things that have applied vulnerability? I think so. Yep, right here. Sweep Kick applies vulnerability. So she's got a few different ways to apply vulnerability, it would seem. Alright, so let's have a look at anti-personnel grenades. Oh, that's cool. I like how she just reaches behind her and pulls them off her belt. This, of course, has a stun duration to it, so it can be used right before coup de grace or deadly kick to apply that stun right before coup de grace for increased base damage. Pretty cool. Next up, we've got Flawless Escape. You shrug off and briefly gain immunity to all negative conditions. Let's just run out here and have a look at that. There you go. Your basic CC breaker. Nothing too special. Next up, Widow's Line. Swing forward using a zipline, damaging and knocking down all enemies in your path. Physical damage and knockdown duration. Let's have a look at that. Very cool. I like the there you can see the damage a little bit as you pass through enemies, but I really like the feeling of it really feels like she's swinging on that rope. I think it might be cool if they made it so that she just used it repeatedly instead of having to spam it. If you can just hold it down and use it as a travel power, I don't know, that might be cool. Alright, so enough playing with Widow's Line. Let's move on to the next skill in the tree, Timed Explosive. Toss a device which emits subliminal sound waves, which are sure to lure in nearby enemies. After a short time, the high explosives detonate automatically, or may be set off with remote detonator. Remote detonator, of course, is the next skill in the tree, so let's just go over that, because it seems that in order to pick up remote detonator, you are going to have to put a point into timed explosive, because remote detonation it has no purpose without timed explosive. So let's just go over remote detonation. Detonate all timed explosives you set, causing them to stun enemies, and that will of course increase the base damage for each detonated mine, or of each detonated mine, not for each detonated mine. That'd be pretty crazy. But of each detonated mine by 15%. Applying a stun to the bombs as well. So if used with remote detonation, the bombs will stun. If not used with remote detonation, they will not. Alright, let's have a look at timed explosive and remote detonation. Here you can see the explosives being thrown out. And I don't know if the server's lagging. Let's throw them on a target. Yeah, I think the server's lagging a bit. Anyway, you can stack these up on a single target, and eventually they will start to explode. There you go. And they'll just go off in sequence as they've been thrown. Or you can do what I like to do, and you can stack them up on a target and blow them all up at once with timed detonation, applying huge amounts of burst damage and a stun as well. Very cool pair of skills here. Oh, wait, I said boom. That was supposed to be in the earth-shattering kaboom. Where's the kaboom? Oh, there's the kaboom. Alright, next up we've got micro drones. Call in a swarm of rocket-propelled micro drones to seek and destroy enemy positions with their explosive payload. First things first is it lets you see enemies on the minimap. Always a cool ability to have. So, 1 point here. I don't know. If you don't care about seeing enemies on the minimap and don't want to use the drones, you might not need a point here. But I'm probably going to put just 1 point here because I really like seeing enemies on the minimap. Then you've got the skill itself, physical damage per drone pair, and micro drone pairs fired 12 with a cooldown of 1 second. So it's going to fire out 12 pairs of micro drones with each with each press of the button, pull of the trigger, whatever you want to call it. And they're all going to do a pretty decent amount of damage. Let's have a look at micro drones. Oh, that is cool. She calls in this army swarm to dive at her enemies. Now, what happens if she's over here? Okay, they will curve. Let's me run up here. Okay, now that's a little weird. I don't know what's going on there, but it's probably the server lagging because the ability's not activated anymore. Okay. But yeah, they will seek out targets and find them on their own as soon as you call them in. If there are no targets around, then they will just crash down into the ground. But it looks like the range on finding targets is pretty wide, because if I'm standing right here, they'll go right for those guys. Standing over here, they'll say, hey, we gotta go get these guys. So pretty cool. Smart drones that seek out enemies. That is it for all of her regular skills. What about her ultimate? Her ultimate is a skill called Shield Assault. Use your high rank and influence within SHIELD to call in a massive airstrike on the area. Then, an elite SHIELD response team equipped with jetpacks flies down to provide support with whatever dangerous mission is at hand. The airstrike is going to deal some physical damage. It looks like 69,000 twice per second for 2 seconds. And then a summon duration of 20 seconds. And it doesn't tell us how much the shield agents that come down are going to do, but we can find that out pretty easily by just pressing the button. Dun dun dun, dun. Shield Assault.
Roger that, Agent Romanoff. Airstrike commencing.
Oh, that was cool.
Assault team deployed.
With voice work and everything. Now this ult is good stuff. You can see, of course, the server's lagging. You know, right here, we're trying to do cool things, and the server starts lagging. But one of them with a big minigun, the other two with assault rifles. That is a very cool skill. Alright, all in all, this level 52 rework for Black Widow, extremely fun. I'm going to have a lot of fun playing this character once this review hits live. I hope you will too. Until next time, take it easy, have a good one. Peace.